Hey everybody, I woke up this morning with my daughter to feed the animals, and it's kind of weird. As soon as we walked out the door, I noticed a bucket I had by the chicken coop was down by the man shed, and I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And then when I'm walking to feed the horses, which I'm doing right now here, actually here's Wyatt the donkey. Let's say hi to Wyatt the donkey. Hey Wyatt. Wyatt the donkey. Look at those ears. Look at those ears, Wyatt. So I was feeding the horses up here, and I don't know if you can notice, but in between the fence and the barn there, that white square is an archery target. Now normally the archery target is way down there in the riding ring, and I was like, that's a little weird. And now my daughter was down feeding the pigs, and I looked down towards my garden, and I noticed that my greenhouse was missing. That's right, my greenhouse was missing. 8 by, or no, I think it was 10 by 12. It was just one of those store-bought greenhouses, but it was missing. So I ran down there to figure out what happened, and I guess let's head to the garden and keep on investigating. Okay, we're at our garden. And yes, I know the garden does not look good. We're still having a garden this year. Got some onions and garlic going. I got some starts I'm gonna plant. But like I said, my wife just had a baby, and the garden isn't gonna be as big as it used to be. But right here is where the greenhouse was supposed to be. The scene of the crime right here. So the greenhouse had a bunch of buckets stored in here, and if you watch any of my videos, you can probably see it in the background behind my beehives normally. So here's what happened. Thought someone had broken onto our property and stolen this greenhouse, or they had done something. It was very strange. Then I looked, and I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to show you in a minute. About 100 feet away, if you see that white splotch back there, that's the greenhouse. It's crazy. So what happened, we had a crazy windstorm, blew everything around, including this greenhouse, and it went over 3 different fences, people. I just wish I would have been there to see it fly. The greenhouse that thought it was a bird. So it looks like our greenhouse wasn't stolen, it just blew away. Now a little bit of background. I've had this greenhouse, a big fail on the homestead. I bought it online 2 years ago, set it up according to the instructions, had stakes that go in the ground almost 3 feet, had extra bricks weighting it down, and I swear 2 days after I set it up, there was a crazy windstorm, which isn't that common here, and it blew it about 50 feet and broke a lot of the structure. So I had this old shed structure that a neighbor was gonna throw away, a metal aluminum frame. I put it over that, and I really was just using it for storage. I didn't really have it staked down this time because to tell you the truth, I was gonna take it apart and get rid of it. I do have plans to build my own greenhouse one day. I just gotta get around to it. Lots of projects, you can only do so much. But let's go ahead and take a closer inspection and just imagine this greenhouse flying in the air. I wish I could have seen it. There's also a giant old pine tree that was probably 30 or 40 feet tall. It had broken off at the top, and I was gonna take that down eventually, and guess what? The windstorm did that for me. So we're gonna head over to those brambles and check out the greenhouse. It's in a weird spot, and I'm probably gonna show you that dead tree. So let's go and check that out. Okay, so we're going to get a closer look at the greenhouse. Like I said, it was in the garden. It flew up in the air overnight when we had a crazy windstorm. Flew over 3 fences, which is insane. Don't know how it did it, but there's the garden. There's our little pigs, actually, in their little pig hut. There's Mr. E and Rudy. I'm sure Stella's in there. This is kind of the part of our property we don't really show you because it's a junk pile. Not our junk pile, but folks back in the day didn't really have any garbage service, and they just kind of put their garbage here. And every now and then we find old farm artifacts that get eroded away, like old bottles and such. But this here is the final resting place of my greenhouse. Amazingly, it ended up right side up. I don't think I'm ever gonna move it again. I'm gonna have to take that plastic off again, but pretty crazy that it happened. Maybe I can use that plastic for something. I have definitely learned my lesson that if I want a greenhouse, I need to make something homemade and more solid. There's just so many projects on the homestead. I love doing them, but sometimes you gotta take it day by day and not rush things. And this has been a big mistake on the homestead, was purchasing this thing 2 years ago, and now it's part of the woods. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I wonder if things will grow in it. Until next time, keep on dreaming, and if you make mistakes, hopefully you learn from them. I know I did with this one.